Oh my God, I'm so pissed. I get pissed sometimes when I see takes so evil and so bad that I just have to fucking say some shit. And you know what? It's easier to rant on video than talk. Will Stansel, 90% sure this dude's an agent. If he's not an agent, he's like a consultant, sucking billionaire dick and promoting their agendas for the corporate Democrats, right? This dude is trying to say to progressives, online, real progressives who know the number one issue is economic, the social shit on both sides, is to keep you from recognizing that. Even in context social oppression, the economic is the biggest piece. Every fucking real 60s progressive civil rights leader was a socialist because they knew that shit. They knew you can't, there's no amount of corporate, let's hold hands and like people shit that's going to fix what is at this point mostly economic. The social shit reinforces from the economic impairments. You can't oppress someone if they're rich and you're economic equal, right? I can call Peter Thiel a first generation heart lipodystrophy looking zombie ass bitch who doesn't even who's a sexual submissive. You pretend to be powerful. You fucking getting these buff guys and paying them off and killing them. You fucking little bitch. I could say all that shit all day. Call him a fag. Call him anything I want. And at the end of the day, he could do this with his thumb and crush me, right? You can't oppress people who have real power, which is money and knowledge and the ability to do shit, right? So the words portion, if I say you're a tranny, right? And I make fun of you and I try to belittle you and I truly, truly want to dehumanize you. If you are rich, like Caitlyn Jenner, it doesn't matter, right? So they want you to deliberately put the social before the economic horse, right? The cart of social before the horse of economic. You couldn't oppress Black people in the South if you didn't legislate. You can't make any money. That's how they got away with that. That's why the necessary component to keeping Jim Crow going was burning down every attempt to make money. Because once they're broke and once they have no real power, and you throw everything to prevent them from getting education or capital stability, which are real power, those two things, education and capital stability, now their stupid bullshit system like Black babies are useful for baiting alligators. You're not as good as now becomes real. Right? Why do the fucking progressives online all day act like a word goes into the wind, it multiplies like a daffodil, and it seeds? Like, no, it's money, you stupid fuck. I could say anything about anyone. If they have more power than me, it don't work. It don't work, right? But they want you to think the social comes first. No, it doesn't. The social reinforces the economic, meaning if you've legislated that you can't make money and you can't learn, then all your nonsense bullshit, you're not really a person, I'm a better person than you, will have some effect. And it doesn't have effect in of itself. It has effect to justify why the economic oppression exists. So if you want to fix this shit, legislating let's hold hands and hug each other, you don't really mean it. Because you're an oppressor, because you just want to make as much money as possible at everyone else's expense. You don't really mean it. You're saying that to avoid people from waking up. It's not going to do anything. You have to start with capital to gain capital, to have some kind of power in the world, and education. And then when those inequities are gone, obviously poor, broke rednecks who are the only ones who are really into racism, really. The rich ones who are like online at working for MAGA, they are only doing that to control the poor chuds, to make them more poor. They don't really believe this. They're like, these people are wealth elitists. They hate all of humanity if you're not rich like them. Right? So when you see these orbiters in MAGA pretending they care about race, it's because they know the poorest, weakest, stupidest, most pathetic white people care about that. It's because they have nothing else, and so that's all they have, right? So that's why they pretend to do that, but they really hate everyone and want to hold everyone down, right? Economic first, social follows, or reinforces the economic, right? Do you think slavery would have been successful if they didn't do that? You can't learn to read, you can't go to school, and you have to work for free, but kept the system like social part. No, it wouldn't work. It would dissolve instantly. Now, another thought test. If they did the economic part, you have to work for free and you can't learn to read, but they just pretended to be like, I love different melanin challenged. We're all together the way these fake corporate fucks do. The system of oppression would keep going. It would. If they said, if everyone in the South acted like these corporate Dems, who are just as evil because they work for the same billionaires, kept the system of oppression going. You can't go to school, you can't learn, and you can't make any real capital. You can chase trinkets. We want you to do that, to feel powerful and delusion, but you can't get real capital stability. You have to be in debt, live on debt, leasing, and we grant it to you as you go and take it anytime we want. But we love you. We're so inclusive. Like, for real. Like, I don't hate them. I just want to keep enslaving them. Like, it's just great. Like, if that's how they ran the South, that shit would have continued, provided nothing changed. That is how the corporate Democrats run our society. Like, they keep the systems that can only lead to subjugation and equality going, and then they virtue signal to bamboozle you. Like, if I'm not virtue signaling, then it's not my fault this is happening. It's like, it is your fault. You know the problem. Your entire status perched on a billionaire's shoulder is why it's happening. They want to confuse you, and they have people mad about words and mad how things are said. So to gaslight you and make you a useful fucking idiot, if you don't like all this inequality, you don't like this oppression, you need to really get off words. Because let me tell you something. Imagine two societies. The South, where the social portion, the lies that they're inferior to you, the lies that they're bad people, the lies that God wants us to happen, all that went away. But they were allowed to learn, read, be free of their own will to do those things in their free time and make money working, and had the option not to be a slave, but they kept all that nasty shit going. Now, another society where, like the present Democrats, they virtue signaled, they were like, be very kind how you say this word, but the economic part of slavery was there, where it's like, you can't learn to read, you can't go to school, you're not allowed to, and you have to work for me for free. But they just kept virtue signaling. Which of those societies do you see equity eventually happening? I'm gonna tell you which one. It's the one where they all talk like shit because it doesn't fucking matter. Because if you let people gain power, real power, knowledge, and capital stability, even if you're like, I think you're fucking shit, it doesn't have any effect. But if you virtue signal while you're doing this to somebody in anything that's real power, that's just a way to gaslight them so that they don't know you're enslaving them. Right? Which one of these looks like the Democrats to you? A take so fucking upsetting. So I went on tangent how much I fucking hate liberals and Democrats, how they disgust me in my soul, how they're just like Republicans, except Republicans vice signal now. Like, they literally turned virtue signaling into vice signaling. It has the same exact function. Like, hey, you chuds, you didn't like how the corporations were virtue signaling while not really doing anything? I'm gonna let you say the N-word and fag. Oh my God, the power is flowing through you now. Like, it's the same thing in the sense they feel like they're being made to think things are getting, when they're only getting so much worse. The same thing virtue signaling used to do, right? This piece of shit agent or consultant for oppression, Will Stansel, uh, he's saying the progressives saying, even if nominal indicators of wealth improve, and it's always shit, like they are the ones who can define wealth. So they're gonna define wealth like a bigger toaster, how many Big Macs a week you can buy, things that don't matter. Like, they want you to have those things. They want you to be up to your ears in porn, gambling games, drugs, especially the ones that rot your brain like pot, alcohol, and opioids, and cheap shit from China that you could buy. Like that, they want you to have that. Because they want distractions from your loss of real wealth as in education, power over your life and democratic processes, and capital stability, right? That's real wealth and power. So while they're taking all that away from you, it's more impossible to pay for education. Everything that matters is really more out of your grasp. They want you to be up to your ears in Big Macs and fucking garbage from China, right? And most people have no awareness. The values they have from birth are planted by them to control you, so you won't act up and make a fuss when the real wealth and real power is taken from you. Access to an education, capital, stability, ownership, control of your life through democratic processes. When that goes away, you're just like, I'm gonna buy the same shirt, except this time I'm gonna get it in a spring teal. This is more of a cool teal. I'd look better in a spring teal. Like, so you're gonna focus on shit like that and not like, oh God, I'm becoming a slave. And let me tell you, the ones who are aware of all that happening, feeling poor, are sane and educated. The ones who feel like high rollers, if the billionaires give them a check, whether through Google Revolution or a meaningless job and they're toiling in their systems, who feel poor, who are aware of this, I'm losing power while they saturate me in trinkets and distraction hate cults, are sane and educated. I mentioned how they're taking real power and giving you trinkets, and then they're cooking their statistics. Oh, you're more wealthy, when in reality you're more fucking broke. You're more fucking weak. You're more of a fucking roadkill number, right? Than you would have been in the past, where education was accessible, affordable, and you can own what you have. And there wasn't this great inequity of ownership versus who rents. Who's the rentier? Like a feudal system, like serfs not owning their land, toiling, and get a percent of what they produce, and that's their only value. But in addition to that, replacing real power, ownership, education, capital stability from ownership, with trinkets galore, distractions, and losing those things, is the issue of the social safety net, right? It is a poor's mindset, and they create poor mindset. The moment you get a check, whether it's from obtaining higher earning labor or joining Google Revolution or whatever the fuck you got a check from them for, an allotment of capital dollars to play in their system, that you feel rich. That's the poorest thing in the world you can do. It's just because you got a check right now, you feel rich and you've made it. And then now that you're rich, you have either a job that's giving you a check, but you are very aware you're beholden to these systems of power, or you're in Google Revolution. You're even stupider because you're probably on Medicaid and SNAP, but you magically feel powerful and rich because they gave you someone to rape and a check. It doesn't occur to you, I have nothing. I'm completely beholden to these systems of power. But you feel rich because you have poor mindset. Like for you, you've made it if you have a car. You've made it if you can buy 2 Big Macs and not worry about it. That's such a poor mindset. And now that you're rich, meaning you have more disposable capital in your hands, you have access to lines of credit. You can you can lease a bigger car. You can lease a house. And so you take those debts and you run up credit card bills. And so superficially, you're surrounded in capital comforts, but you're broke as fuck. You're actually more broke than you were when you started because you spent all your money on shit that doesn't fucking matter, like car and garbage, and you're more in debt. You're less stable. But you feel rich because you have a poor mindset, a poor value system that they created from birth in you, where they tell you trinkets and flashy shit makes you somebody. And they have other poors with poor mindset around you reflect those values. So it feels real to you. But in reality, objectively, this is your power. You did not get educated. You know less or the same. And you're now in debt. That's it. At any time, the bank could take all that shit from you. If something happens. Oh, and while you're feeling high as fuck, you also don't know, because you're an ignoramus with a poor mindset, that the social safety net's eroding gradually. And even if you have private insurance, it's going to do less. And you might have Medicaid soon. So, if you get sick or something happens, all that shit's gone. They're going to repeal Obamacare, which did a lot to protect people from health bankruptcy. You don't know because you have poor mindset. Like, poor mindset is basically if this is money in a check and you put it in front of them, they're like, oh, I'm a millionaire. And then they go and buy stupid shit with it and actually become more broke and weaker. The shit they buy has no real value and they're in debt. They're actually in debt. You see all these people with nice house or car, they're just a big debt machine. And at any given time, they could be a statistic, right? People who feel poor in America because they're aware they're one circumstance away from being homeless are smart and don't have poor mindset. They're right. And will the CIA agent or a fucking consultant for billionaire Dick Stansel is trying to get like, oh, you feel poor even though you have more money right now? It's because you're crazy. It's stupid. And so then wealth has no value. If I can give you more money and you don't feel rich, you're not like everybody else, so you're defective and mentally ill. Like, I want to, oh, this guy's so gross. Like, no, the reason they feel poor is they're aware of the social safety net is gradually being more and more and more eroded. And so even if they have more right now, they know they're one hardship away from having nothing, from being in a position where they're homeless because they got cancer or they lost their job from outsourcing to AI, and then the bank repoed everything they were leasing and or paying out over time, and now they're on the street in a car, and now at the mercy of the states. Now they have the disgusting low IQ cops trying to like not let them park anywhere because they're agents of the billionaire. And then they have both Gavin Newsom and Trump, who play fisticuffs online but both suck billionaire dick, saying one thing we both agree on: poor people should be forced in facilities or killed. There's no station. Like, they try to gaslight the fuck out of you, like, homeless is a problem everywhere. Look at France. There's so many homeless people in Paris. I went to Paris, bitch. Okay? The homelessness problem of Paris is nothing like this country. First of all, Paris is a way better city. I wish I was French and lived there. Okay, it's very walkable. They have an amazing subway system. There's so many stores in walking distance. You just walk, walk, walk. It's healthier. It's better. And I didn't see one disgusting giant SUV driven by a little dick, low IQ male abuser with either MAGA shit on it or Google Revolution shit on it. That doesn't exist in France. They have little cars and they're not weirdly dilute. They don't have this fascist psychology where if I have the superficial objects of power, I'm as powerful as the trillionaire. That's an American disease that they created in these people. And over there, there's no reward for having a giant car. It's not a thing that's designed. It's a real society. It feels like a real society, right? Everything is about the people. And yeah, in Paris, there's homeless people, but it's not like American homelessness. Let me tell you what I mean. Like, you go to Paris, you'll see homeless people in Paris, but they're all refugees. And what I mean by that is because they have a good social safety net, because they're a real society, people come to this country to get help if they're desperate. And it's such a good society, it accommodates a lot of them, but it can't accommodate everyone. It's a small country that's not loaded. So what happens or ends up happening is these people from other countries in very bad situations, they end up staying on the street in Paris and selling shit because it's better than where they're from. That's nothing like American. American homelessness is like, go to New York and talk to 10 fucking homeless people and every last one will be born here. Meaning they're not people who are extra, like the society was stable, everyone's provided for, there's a security system. But because of that, people from really bad and unstable situations came, and despite the attempt of the state to help everyone, they couldn't help everyone. So some of them are homeless right now. It's more like this: like, I was born in Brooklyn, got fucking cancer, I couldn't do my construction job no more, and I didn't have insurance anyway. I was walking off the books, and I didn't have no. I was just uninsured, and they took my house and my car. I've been trying to make it out here in New York. That's American homelessness. Or like, I lost my job. My job was outsourced, and I couldn't make my mortgage payments, and I had no help and no resources. I was living check already, and the bank took my house, even though I had paid 75% of the mortgage. All that money was stolen from me, every last drop. And, I was in my car, but then the cops kept harassing me until they finally found an excuse to take it from me. So now I'm just here on the subway. That's American homelessness. It's not like I'm from Africa. There was a bad situation, and I tried to apply for the refugee help, but I didn't get it. So now I'm in Paris, like selling stuff, but I don't have a house right now, which is like, oh my, it's like this, like the social societies. Like one is like a society so good where people who have nothing and don't live there try to get some help and they still try to help them but they can't, versus like we don't help our own people, so why the fuck would somebody come here who needs help? You have to be fucking stupid. Like if you're a full ass refugee and you're not being vetted or something, and I'm gonna go to America because I know they'll help me, like, and you'd be behind the line if you were born here, where it's just they became useless to the capital system, so it was acceptable to kill them. Let me tell you something. If you feel poor in this society, you're just smart and awake. The ones who feel like, I have a job right now, I'm a pick out a mortgage, and then I bought SUVs, I'm a big tough guy, I'm never gonna be broke, I'm with the billionaire, me Trump, or me and Google Revolution, I bought a Mercedes for raping people. You're a fucking nitwit with poor mindset. You don't have any real power, you're completely controlled, everything you have can be taken from you at all, and let me tell you something, there's no safety net. It's bare fucking bones. Bare fucking bones, right? I didn't see one potentially native born French person while I was in France, and I was in there for like a week or plus. Everyone I see homeless here is born here. Because we don't have people coming here trying to get help. They damn well know that's stupid. The only immigrants that are illegal we have want to work, meaning like they're literally coming here to work under the table. Not like I need to run the fuck away and I hope they'll be kind to me and help me out. They have that in Europe. They don't got that here, right? So the European homeless is nothing like our homelessness. Our homeless is like it's our own people because they're useless to us. And both the Democrats who are compassionate, I love trans people. They're like, yeah, me and Trump both agree you should be in jail. Like you should not exist. And it's like, but I'm only homeless because even though I'm a citizen, I help society. Something bad happens to me, you can help me. It's like I don't care. You think I give a fuck? There's another one you where you came from. You don't matter. Your life doesn't matter. Your life only matters if you're rich. And if you're not rich, you better hope nothing bad happens because you could just die. We don't care. Only America's like that, right? So you want to know why Americans feel poor? That's why. And that's why people in Europe feel rich, even if they can buy less Big Macs and less SUVs they don't even want. People buy these ugly cars, they're disgusting. I see the road littered with giant SUVs, putting like I love my mother on a giant SUV. How'd you get that SUV? Through fucking rape and crime, you're disgusting little troll. People do that here. They don't do that in real societies. And those values you have were engendered by the oppressors. And you're driving around your big fucking car, your stupid ugly Cybertruck, and everyone who's smarter than you, which is not many people because you're a fucking nitwit, never else a nitwit, but smart people can look at you and say, you're a fucking delusional ass prole. You're so fucking weak. You're so fucking powerless, and look at how powerful you feel. The meh person in America who maybe isn't doing so well but feels poor because they're aware of all this on some level is smarter than you and has more power than you. You're just a little slave, high and delusional, and at any time you could lose all this shit, and it means nothing. Nothing at all. I can tell you it's more rewarding to live in France, uh, even with modest money. It's disgusting living here. It's nothing but a bunch of delusional slaves. And the ones who are somewhat awake get called crazy or something like, "Oh, you don't feel rich because I gave you a check? Then wealth has no meaning to you." Like trying to gaslight you. This is not wealth. A hamburger is not wealth. It's some shit you made up and encoded as wealth so you could take real wealth and power. Wealth is in your society. Wealth is in your stability. Wealth is reliability of your basic human needs being met. That's wealth. And they do everything in their power to take that from you to control you and then give you trinkets that mean nothing. Anyone aware of that and feels poor, even if the Democrats managed to legislate an extra hamburger for everybody, but did not legislate fixing the safety net, is sane as fuck.